Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. On this video, we're going to be showing a investigation we did at where my grandparents' house used to be. The house is no longer there, but it was haunted for a number of years. So people within the family have always wondered, is there something attached to the land that was causing the haunting, or was it something else? Is there something still there? So during this investigation, we're going to show you kind of what we did while we were there. We didn't see much, but we did get some speaking on the spirit box and some SLS footage. I do want to apologize from the get-go that the sounds probably may sound weird. So we got some new microphones and didn't have them set up properly, so it made it sound incredibly loud. So during the editing process, I had to lower the volume, and then I added some captions. They're AI generated, so they may or may not match exactly what we're saying. We figured out the problem with the microphone, so it shouldn't be a problem after this video and the next video we put up, because they're both done on the same night. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some pictures of what the house used to look like and talk about that just a little bit. And then I'm going to tell my ghost story, or my family's ghost story from the house. And this is kind of what got me interested in paranormal.
Okay, this here is an older picture of Meemaw's house, and it was apparently around Christmas time, I would assume. It was, for those of y'all in Texas, it was one of those rare times it snowed, because it doesn't happen often, and you can tell by the house it looked relatively new, so I would assume this has to be back in the 50s, maybe early 60s, when this picture was actually taken. I'll show you a picture in a minute. That's one that I was a little more accustomed to. But yeah, everything here just looks odd to me, especially with the snow. Okay, now this looks more like Meemaw's house that I was used to growing up. As you can tell, it is worn down over the years. It has the big bush or tree, whatever that you want to call that, there in the yard. So I'll go more over that here shortly whenever I start telling the actual story, or the ghost stories that have come from here. But what's actually kind of funny is this is almost the exact spot that we accidentally took a picture of whatever was in the house at one time. And like I said, I'll explain all that when I get to the story. And if y'all see whatever that is on the right hand side there, I don't think that's anything. I think it's just something got on the picture before my aunt took a picture of it and sent it to me so I could use it for the video. So, yeah, this is what I remember before the house was torn down, that it kind of looked like. So,
Okay, this is things that happened at the house over the years. They may or may not be chronologically ordered. I'm going to do my best at keeping most of it, and especially what happened to me, and they'll be more toward the end. But these are the stories that were told throughout the family, and what we kind of know. My grandparents, they bought the house from a man we believe his first name was Robert, his last name was Sneed. The house wasn't even completely finished being built at the time. The upstairs was not completely built. But he passed away either at the house or at the hospital right after, or on the way to the hospital. We're not 100% sure on that particular point at all. So we do not know if he was the presence that was haunting the house. My mom always got the impression when she used to hear, or her and one of my aunts would hear footsteps going up and down the stairs. Well, she always got the impression of the hilt of a sword banging on each step as she would hear the steps. For those that know the area, this was in Deer Park, Texas, which the Battle of San Jacinto happened not too far from here, so we don't know if this could be one of the Spanish soldiers that part of the battle happened here, or he made it over to where the house was built and passed away there. So we don't know what this all actually means. But let's see. What was weird about the experience that they all had as kids, I think my mom said they moved in the mid-50s. And so the experiences they had, they did not talk about until they were older and moved out of the home, because a lot of times you don't want to tell your siblings that you're hearing things, seeing things, or different things like that, because first they'll tease you. Siblings do that, or people think you're crazy, or But the stories, the way I always heard them, was my aunt, my mom's older sister. She was getting married and getting ready to leave home, and one night was sleeping upstairs in one of the bedrooms. And at that particular time, she happened to look up and see two red eyes in the corner of the bedroom staring at her. She didn't do anything. Obviously, it freaked her out a lot, but they didn't do anything. Nothing else happened other than that. Well, a few years later, my mom, same situation. She was getting ready to leave the house, get married, leave. She happened to be staying in the same bedroom. Well, she had how you get that feeling that somebody's watching you? Well, she felt like somebody was standing at the edge of the bed, just staring at her. And she did that for as long as she possibly could withstand it. She said she finally just got so tired of it, threw her arm back to see if there was anybody actually there. She hit nothing. She got up then, turned the light on, slept with the light on the rest of the night. She said the feeling was still there, but it wasn't quite as intense. So those two things happened. These were in the same bedroom upstairs, and the upstairs only had two bedrooms. And both my aunt, Barbara, and my mom would always hear footsteps, because they were both sleeping in different rooms at that particular time, going up and down those particular stairs. They never heard them at the same time, but they would always hear footsteps. My other aunt, my mom's younger sister, never had any experiences there or upstairs, or none that she has told us. But at one point, my uncle was there. He's the youngest out of my mom's siblings. He was sleeping in that same bedroom upstairs, laid there. He felt somebody get into bed with him. They crawled over him into the bed, laid there for a few minutes, then crawled over him and crawled back out and left. And that would be quite a intense experience. So that would be something to would rattle most people. Then over the years, apparently there have been other things. My grandfather, he was in the living room, which was where the stairs were located. This was the main living room area. We didn't use this room much because that's where the stairs were, and then the front door to go in and out of the house was there. He was talking to someone on the phone, and he was the only one home, and he heard the footsteps coming down the stairs, which, rattled him. So his friend that he was talking to told him, get out of the house. So he got out and was out a little bit. Then nobody else came out, came back in a little bit later, checked it out, was nothing there. And so he was kind of freaked out by that. My grandmother was different times. She had many different things happen. She would be in the den watching TV. She was sitting in like her rocker recliner. She was the only one home, and my grandfather's rocker recliner would actually start rocking. And she told us she'd always say, "Well, if they just want to watch TV with me, that's fine. I don't care." So that's just the way she was. Different times she would hear like someone in the kitchen rattling dishes, cabinets, and whatnot. She would think it was my uncle coming home, but it wasn't. She was still the only one home. There was another time she was the only one home, and she saw a little kid figure standing at the edge of her bed going, "Mama, Mama." And she would go, "What, what?" And it would never answer her. So she never thought of it, as malevolent or bad. It was just something that was always happening. As far as we can tell, nothing ever malevolent or evil was there, but for most people it was, just a unsettling feeling. Then as us kids were growing up, we started hearing these stories. And then when we were over there, it would just be unsettling. Like I said, the living room was an unsettling room in itself. For whatever reason, we don't know why that particular room just had such a weird feeling to it. Everybody, the adults, the kids, if you were in the house, if you were going from one end of down the hallway, if the hallway door to the living room was open, you walked by quickly, almost running, not looking in. Everybody did it. We don't know why. My mom and my aunt say that if you're in the den watching TV, because there was another door to go into the living room right there, you'd always keep looking at that door to make sure it was closed, because my mom would always say she got the feeling that someone was standing on the other side saying, "Open the door, open the door." That's just what she was getting. So it was an odd room. As kids, when we were playing in the hallway, like rolling Hot Wheels, balls, whatever, we would not play in that room, we would not play in the hallway unless the door to the living room was closed. We had to close it before we would do anything there. Then we were fine. On the thing when we were doing things outside and everybody was outside, if you had to come in to go to the bathroom, you ran in, you went into the bathroom, you ran back out because you did not want to be in the house by yourself, especially with the living room door open. And that was everybody's feeling, us kids, the adults. You just did not like being there by yourself. At least we didn't. Obviously, my grandmother had no problem with it. The other stories came out over the years. At one point, a friend of my aunt's was staying over. They were still in school at this time, so she had slept over, and she woke up, looked out the window, and saw somebody out the window. So at first she thought it was my grandfather doing something outside. Didn't think much of it, went back to sleep. Though the next day, when she actually thought about it, she said they're on the second floor. You wouldn't be able to see anybody out the window. So that was a weird experience in and of itself. The same friend, right before my aunt's wedding, she was staying with my aunt. They were both sleeping in my grandmother's bedroom. And she woke up and saw somebody at the doorway, like a man standing there. Well, she thought it was, my uncle or soon-to-be uncle there. And of goes, what's he doing here? It's, they're not married yet, but there wasn't anybody there. So these were some other experiences from family friends too. Well, come to me, what happened to me and my brother and my cousin. My cousin was really young, so he didn't remember any of this anyway, but I think my brother still did. We were staying over. I was anywhere from 10 to 12 at the time, so I was pretty young. We were sleeping on the pull-out couch in the den. Well, at one point in the middle of the night, the door to the living room opened on its own. Oh my God, we were really freaked out by this, because knowing all these stories and the way the stairs were designed, you would come down the main flight of stairs, take a left turn, 90-degree left, walk down 4 more steps, and at the bottom, the door to the den was right there on your right-hand side. So we were freaked out. So my brother went and got my grandmother, and she basically said that, oh, the door wasn't closed all the way. But we were both thinking, no, that's not, no. We know it opened on us. So we tried to lay down and go to sleep. Well, later on, I kind of woke back up. Never really got a good night's sleep, obviously. And I started hearing the dishes and cabinets rattling in the kitchen, which was right around through the other door leading out of the den. I kind of more or less sat up hearing this. So, still wish to this day that I would have looked around the corner to see if anything was actually there, or anything was actually happening, or if it was just the noises. Obviously, as a kid, I was scared and did not want to do that. So it's just one of those regrets that I wish I would have looked now. So, but because I made, the next morning I asked Meemaw, was that you in the kitchen, getting stuff ready for breakfast? She said, no, I wasn't in the kitchen. We're kind of, oh no. So it kind of threw us off even more. Well, several years later, after this, they finally sold the house. They were trying to sell the house because they were moving. They moved out to the country where they have a farm now, and every time they kept trying to sell the house, the deal would fall through. The deal would fall through. The deal would fall through. Well, they finally were able to sell the house. So everybody was there. This was right before they ended up moving out. Relatives from out of town, like my aunt, my mom's older sister Barbara, she lives in the Austin area. My uncle he lived in the same general area, Pasadena, Deer Park, and my other aunt Beverly, she lived a little further out of town from Houston, but everybody was there. We were out front doing some Polaroid pictures, and so my mom was taking pictures. The first picture she took was her kids on the front doorstep. The next picture she took was us grandkids. And the picture after that she took was one of everybody. Well, it ended up being one of these pictures was different than the others. The picture with everybody was quite different. On the first 2 pictures, when you look behind us, the screen door, all you could see is the reflection of our backs and like a tree that was actually across the street, and just because it was wavy glass, you couldn't see through it. The wooden door was open, but the screen door was closed. You could not see through it. And the third picture with everybody, you could see through this screen door, this glass door that you could not see through in other pictures or after. You could see a figure standing behind us. Now, for whatever reason, you couldn't see the face. It was like the face, most of the face for the overhang of the door, all you could see would be about this of their face, just this bottom part of their face. So we stood there for quite a while after that, trying to figure out what it was, what what had happened. Because also the other weird thing was, like I said, you could see into the room. You could see all the way through the living room, through the open door to the hallway, to the picture that was hanging on the wall right there. That's how clear this picture was. That did not show up in the other two. So there's still no explanation for that. Well, so they sold the house and moved. And then several years later, they ended up getting the house back. They ended up having to foreclose on the people because they were not making their payments, which kind of was all odd in and of itself. They ended up with the house back again, which it turns out was not all in a bad thing, because my aunt, Beverly, Mom's younger sister, ended up having to move back into the house because she was going through a divorce, and then there was some issues where she was living. So she ended up moving back into that particular house. So while she was there, it did come out that she did have one odd thing happen, that I found out it was like a bedroom lamp started flickering. The lights were just flickering on and off. So she just yelled at the top of her lungs, "Stop it, Sneed!" Because they were all under the assumption it was Mr. Sneed that was the presence there. Well, the light came on and stopped flickering. Didn't flicker anymore. So we don't know if that it was him, it wasn't him, or not. Well, soon after, they ended up having they tore the house down because it was in bad shape. The house was built on blocks, so it was settling all weird, and the floor. I mean, at one point, somebody, I think my aunt or uncle, walked through it, and the floor was starting to rot, and they actually fell through the floor. And at one point, the floor in the kitchen had bowed up so much that you could actually almost hit your head on the ceiling, because I think it was blowing down a little bit just because of the settling. So it was in no shape for anything else. So they ended up having to tear it down. So that's where we did this particular video that I'm going to show you here after this. We're not sure. After doing our little investigation, we saw a few SOS figures, and we had the spirit box talk a little bit. But I'm not sure if anything's still there. And we're not sure if it didn't move to where Meemaw's house is now. Because people have had experiences there and seen things there. Even just a few months ago, I was there with my wife, and my sister were there. Meemaw was there. It happened to be we were getting ready to go to bed. My wife had already went to bed. My sister had already went to bed, and she had her dog with her. And Meemaw was turning the lights off to the living room. Well, she flipped the light off. I was right behind her because she was using a walker. She's 95 years old, so make sure she didn't need anything or have any, trip or fall just on accident. And I just got this intense feeling that there was somebody behind me in the dark in the living room staring at me. I turned around, looked, saw nothing, looked forward, turned around, looked, still saw nothing. Then didn't say anything to Meemaw because she was going to bed and she didn't want to. Went to bed, didn't say anything to my wife. Yeah, she doesn't care for all this. The next morning, after I got up, my sister got up, and I told her about it, but this was before Meemaw got up, and my sister told me that she could not get her dog, Lady, to go into the bedroom the night before. She basically had to push her into the room. And Lady's a relatively big dog, so. And then when she got up on the bed, she just kept staring at the corner of the room, and like on top of the dresser there. She was just staring at something. And my sister's kind of, what is she staring at? So she ended up turning the light on just so she would stop staring at whatever. What she finally did, laid her head down, and finally, I guess, went to sleep at some point. So still didn't say, a little later, after my wife got up, I still didn't tell her anything. did tell me, Mom. She said, "Oh, wow." And then she, some other stories that have happened. But on the way home, I ended up telling my wife what had happened. She goes, "Yeah, I know there was something there." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, because she'd went into the bedroom earlier before we went to bed to get her medicine so she could take her medicine. And while she was in there, she felt a presence in there watching her, kind of wondering who she was, what is she doing here." That's the feeling she got. So this was very odd that three different people had things happen on the same night, and none of them knew about it at the same time. I did want to do an investigation at her current house out there and talk to her about it. She said, "Oh yeah, that would be cool." But the next day she did call me and said she didn't want us to do it. I think she's kind of afraid to find out what's there, what isn't there. I don't know if she thinks it might be, my grandfather, because he has passed several years ago, or if it is something else. I don't think she fully wanted to know. But I think I'm going to somehow or another get an investigation there. So if there is still something there, we believe it could. If that is the case, it was probably attached to something that was in her house in Deer Park that she transferred to her house in Taylor. Because we do, spirits will move with objects. So we do want to have, check that out. So I'll have to. Currently, she had an issue and she's kind of living in an assisted living home. So she's not actually at the house. So I might be able to get an investigation there without her knowing and maybe find something to show everybody. But this is what I'm about, this is, from here on, it's going to be what we had at the property itself. So, hope y'all enjoy. What's your name?
Are you in darkness? Is that because the house that's no longer here?
Were you a Spanish soldier or Mexican soldier?
Or is there a Mexican soldier here anywhere?
Hola, ¿cómo estás? El soldado. Spanish. Ask him if he was a soldier.
That was Spanish? Smart ass.
The world has changed.
Yes, it has.
Heat energy, you can drain it off the microphone.
You can drain it off these cameras or even off this phone.
Sorry.
Yeah, you always have my bag.
Trevor's not here.
Oh, what a dick.
Sacrificial lamb.
Oh, wow. And we got a nice little spike. 3.2.
Take a right.
Yeah.
Take a right. Okay.
Who's right? We're all facing different directions.
Yeah, that wasn't that really didn't make a whole lot of sense.
A lot of sexual energy.
Why is it always got to be about that?
I don't know. He thinks it that way.
I'm standing among you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
What did it say?
I'm standing among you. Well, why can't you tell us who you are?
If you can't use that device, you can say it in one of these little devices or something that we're holding. We'll be able to hear you later.
He killed me.
Who killed you? We don't know of anyone who was killed here.
Hey, Aaron, you got the EMF meter? Come over here.
Were you a soldier?
Hey. I was picking up some.
You said someone killed you. Who killed you?
Woman.
A woman killed you? That seems a little odd.
That is odd. Well,
I'm showing
Mosquito
it is
fuel.
right, but it is working correctly.
yeah.
For whatever reason, it just kind of
I do it.
out there.
I'm sure they got that on the microphone.
Here over here breathing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all you hear when you're standing next to Mikey.
True.
I know.
You know what? You can hear him breathing too?
The other rails hear that. Oh man. That sounds like an erotic
Yeah,
video.
so what the hell is going on there? What'd you record? Did you put it like next to your face or
We need
something?
to put some music to that.
We promise we're not here to make a porn video.
So, a woman killed him.
I guess. I mean, I don't know who. Because they won't give us a name. Darren doesn't need, I don't think Darren knows of anybody who was killed here.
Not that I'm aware of. Somebody supposedly died here. Somebody did die here. What was his name?
Well, that's what he's saying. He died here, but he was killed.
Was there a woman that could have killed you? Is that what you're trying to say? Yes or no would be
That's a interesting picture.
yeah, I don't know what the make of that. Yeah, those are totally different pictures.
And we're both facing the same way. I was facing like there, and you were facing there. It looks like the freaking Galvez.
Pictures on your on their screens, do they mean anything?
That looked like the Galvez. This looked like Galveston, but
Yeah.
they.
I don't know.
I've been here 150 years.
150 years. That's
Wow.
a long time.
That's
That would be about the battle.
no.
A little more than, well, a little less
It's
than.
not quite the battle.
No, I know, but
No, Texas was established way before it.
yeah.
150 years
Well,
ago.
1986 was 150 years. So.
A lot of sexual tension and breathing.
Were you a soldier in the war? Okay.
My name is Joseph.
Hey, Joseph.
Anyone
Mind
that
if
sound
we call you
familiar?
Joey?
Hey, Joseph. That's my middle name. Joseph, who are you? You live here 150.
Church.
Was there a church?
There's not a church here. Well, I mean, there's not that we know of.
Hey, man, do me a favor. Go run over there by that tree. See if you pick up anything.
Aaron doesn't run. Why would you even ask that?
Just waddle over there and check it out for me.
What's that? What's he doing?
He wants him to go over to that tree. Is there something over there by that tree? Are you over there by that tree? That's my middle name. Joseph, who are you? Did you live here 150?
Church.
Was there a church?
There's not a church here.
Hey, Aaron, do me a favor. Go right over there by that tree and see if you pick up anything,
Aaron
please.
doesn't run.
Or,
Why would you even ask that?
or just waddle over there and check it out for me.
What's that? What's he doing?
He wants him to go over to that tree. Is there something over there by that tree? Are you over there by that tree?
I'm trying to remember where that tree was compared to the house. I think the fencing was a little. They moved the fencing a little this way than they were supposed to.
Do me a favor. Go right over there by that tree and see if you pick up anything.
Are you going to that right around me?
Or,
Because I think it's coming from that.
or just waddle over there and check it out for me.
It's actually. Oh, okay. Somebody up in the tree there?
Maybe you need to walk over there now.
Is that an old fence post over there?
Well, there was a garage there. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. It was a wire fence. It was never a wooden fence
Well,
in
that
the
looks
back.
like a metal post. Could be
Yeah.
a metal post. Is this your yard?
Huh?
Oh.
This was still the yard, yeah.
No, I'm at. Yeah.
Oh. You were asking a question,
I'm
sorry.
asking a question.
He pushed.
Who pushed?
Not that I'm aware of.
Tree wouldn't be very big.
Someone push you?
150 years ago.
Yeah, no.
That's an old fence post. So that was your fence.
Yeah, that was the fence line there.
Well, and you can see that's an old post right there.
Yeah,
There's there's some more actually right there.
yeah. Because there used to be a house back there, too. There was like a little gate that you could go between them back in the day.
Going back over here, mosquitoes are worse over there. Who pushed you? That's the old gas meter.
I turned on the yes no box. Oh, somebody said no.
Is
there somebody here?
Heretic's Fork.
I don't know what that means.
What did it say? What did it say?
Heretic's Fork.
Hmm.
Is this your chair? Oh, gas meter here.
Yes.
Where they smoke?
Apparently, yes. I don't know what he asked, but it said yes. What the hell was that?
You want us to leave?
Are you still here on this land?
It's 1.9 and a 0.
Oh.
No. Nobody asked anything. Well, a little bit ago I did, but
Yeah, come over here. Went up to like 0.4.
oh shit. I feel it. This was part of the living room.
Violet? Is that your color you like?
Or the name of the girl that killed him.
Or is that a name? Mosquitoes are starting to get on me now.
It looks like this thing moves around. They were at a .2 by the tree, and then it went away. They're at a .4 over here, and then it went away.
Lillian.
Lillian. I mean, Lillian.
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 Knocking.
What kind of knocking?
I don't hear any knocking.
Talk about what? Knocking boots or?
You make a knocking noise?
Their running sounded like knocking.
Oh, that's might be a reach, but okay.
I know.
Fucking funny.
It's awfully
The
late.
big boys look like they needed it.
It's awfully late for that. I guess.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's cooler.
Yeah.
It's too hot during the day. The humidity's just gonna go up.
Do you remember me here? Long ago?
Nancy.
Nancy?
Not that I know of.
We don't know any of these names. None of them are familiar.
My uncle was married to a Nancy at one time or another. It was the mother of my cousin.
Yeah, I'm assuming she
Oh,
didn't live here.
yes. Huh?
I'm assuming they didn't live here.
No, but she did visit at one point. They said my cousin was here the night that we had all our weird stuff happen. But that he was really young at that time. I happened to see that thing say yes, but I asked a question a couple seconds ago. It says, I asked if you remember me here. It didn't do anything right away, but then all of a sudden the yes came up. Now
Mine
no.
says no. That's actually the first time though it's actually gone with a no.
Now a yes came up. I don't know if that's because Aaron's.
But I don't know if it's coming from the shadows. Yeah, see, I don't know.
Why is the yes still on? There
I don't know. But I'm starting to wonder if the shadows are setting it off. Your shadow is not over it, yeah. See? Yep.
Okay.
Alright, so shadow can set it off.
Well, the yes came on. There was no shadow at the time because I wasn't moving and Aaron hadn't come over either.
Injury.
Injury, huh? You had an injury?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what your injury was?
Yes. Now that's
I just don't
Aaron.
know if Aaron's...
That's Aaron there.
He's far enough away, but
I mean,
setting
that's.
it off from at that distance and it ain't working right.
Yeah, I don't think that.
I mean, the shadow was close, but...
I don't think the shadow should set it off though.
Well, I wouldn't think so, but...
See, now it's going off on yes and
Yeah,
the
and there's
shadow's
not a
on it.
shadow on it.
I gotta say, I got a really weird picture. I did the VR thing. And I got a weird ass picture. Looks almost like, oh man. There we go.
That picture?
Mm-hmm.
That's.
Remove.
Huh. Now, that's pretty clear too. It almost doesn't even look like VR or AI rather.
It almost looks like some kind of weird Ouija board or something, too.
Now the yes is just stuck on and nobody was moving.
Aaron's close to it, but I don't know. I'm not real sure what's going on.
Yeah. Hey, Mikey, since you have that up, well, I guess I can pull mine up. We'll do the same.
Brother just pointed something out in the photo.
Yeah, it's someone's hand. Back it up. There's a person above it.
Yeah, there's somebody there.
Yeah. There's a person's hand.
Well, I'd say go over toward the edge of the street, look back this way, and see if it will show you a picture of the house that was, ask it to show you what the house that used to stand here looked like.
Oh, yeah.
Since I know what it looked like.
Right, no, it's a good idea.
Did you ask it? You still have to ask the question. You do it just like a spirit box.
Can you show us the house that was here?
Yeah, show us what the
I
house
did
looked
not
like.
believe in this.
Okay. You do not believe in an afterlife?
I think if that damn thing shows the house that was fucking here, I will go home.
Yeah, no, I think that pretty much answers the questions.
I said
if he shows a picture of that house, he's going.
I said I think I'll go home. Because Christ had already did it in that damn jail. It showed pretty much the jail.
Uh-huh. Can you show us a picture of this house or that device Mr. Barry Street is holding?
You're very respectful.
Well, thank you. I'll try to be. We appreciate you talking to us. Are you not the people that lived here? Are you someone else?
Can you name any of the people that used to live here? There's 3 different women and 2 men that used to live here. What were their names?
You have one name. Got to be the right name.
Because I know their names.
We were executed.
Yeah, see, I find that highly unlikely.
No, nobody was executed here. Unless it was long
Unless there was
ago.
some soldier or something. He
walked
over
by,
there walking there. Were you? If you were executed, who executed you? Were you some kind of a soldier?
Or could have been Native Americans during the time too.
Anything's possible. I don't know how many Native Americans were around here at that time. I know there was some tribes northeast of here, but I don't know about here.
Yeah, I know. Did it show anything, Mikey? Okay.
No picture came back up. Just
Okay, well,
That's
you're
what
not going to tell us anything or talk to us.
I was saying if it
Well,
actually
we'll
showed a
probably
picture of
just
that
let you
house,
go
I think I said I'd
in
go
peace.
home.
You said you think you'd go home.
If the actual house came up on the picture.
Don't want to communicate with us. Sorry to hear that.
Can you show us what the house looked like that stood here in the 1970s?
All right, I'm going to let you go. You
No,
have nothing else
the
to
house
say.
did not look like that.
But you asked, and it did show a picture.
Yeah,
How did
no.
you save the picture?
They're in. Wrong button. Nope. Go back. It's
Image gallery.
yeah. Probably. Go back. Yeah, they're in there.
Did show, when he asked, it did show a picture of a house. And
That's
a
a-
very fucking
Yeah,
creepy one.
yeah, or like dolphins flying in the air with it or something. Kind of weird.
Are
Looking.
they dolphins? Yes, they are dolphins flying in fucking air.
Good.
Grandma like dolphins.
No, really wasn't, not one of her things.
It's fucking funny and cool.
Well, that's definitely not the house, though.
No, yeah.
But it definitely
Not
is
anyone's
a
house.
That's kind of fucking hilarious, though.
Well, dolphins are going to take over the world,
Yeah, well, they are the smartest creatures.
according to according to the Galaxy show.
What?
You know, the one where they want to fish. Dolphins are aliens.
I don't know.
Well, it seems like we're getting a little bit of activity, but nothing cohesive.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know.
Well, the conversation was carried.